following information is presented for discussion and educational purposes only and is not intended or provided as treatment information for any specific person or behavior. If you or a loved one is having behavioral difficulties, you are encouraged to seek professional consultation as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 5 of Ask the Behavior Doctors. We're here in Scottsdale, Arizona, bringing you the latest news, information, and stories related to behavioral science. So today we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to have developing empathic behaviors with kids, so how to build empathy with our children. We're going to talk about parenting in the heat of the moment. And then we're going to talk about a new product on the market for managing naughty behaviors. So first things first, let's get into the developing empathy with children. So a lot of parents will come to me and they'll say, Jake, my child, I wish they were a little bit softer with others. I wish they were a little bit more considerate. I wish they kind of thought a little bit about others' needs sometimes. Many parents want children to be more empathic and are curious about ways to get that empathy from their kids. So just a few ideas for how to do that. Number one thing is model generosity and empathy as the parent. Model that for your child as much as possible. They need to see you do generous, empathic things. They need you to see you take an empathic perception on certain things in life. I mean, every day there's scenarios where you can demonstrate what it would look like to interpret that through the lens of empathy and caring. You can share those thoughts and feelings with your child and also model that behavior of being generous to others, giving, serving, volunteering, anything that you want to do for your child. You want to discuss empathic examples of others' behaviors. So you want to look for other people around your child doing empathic things, and you want to share and discuss that with your child. You want to praise empathic and care behaviors from your child in particular. You definitely want to emphasize your child doing that. You want to notice that. I caution you I want you to take the perspective of really praising and noticing that behavior in your child as opposed to pointing out when they weren't. The reason is I think it will be really nice. It's going to be easier to learn from that experience from your child if they can really see that you notice. I mean, again, remember, you get the behaviors you consistently reinforce. So by really emphasizing and praising when your child is overly empathic or is generous with others, I think your child's obviously going to be able to learn from that moment in a more efficient way. So if you do the opposite though, if you try and say, well, hey, you weren't very empathic or you can do a little bit of that, but definitely put the emphasis on praising and noticing when your child is empathic and caring with others. Spend time with your child around other empathic people or around environments where people need empathy, people need giving, people need to be served. Put yourself in opportunities where your child has the opportunity to serve, has the opportunity to volunteer, has the opportunity to give. By putting your child in those type of environments, you're going to maximize the number of times they have a chance to be empathic and caring for others. You're also going to surround them with people that probably are more likely to demonstrate those behaviors. And you're going to make that behavior, that quality more obvious to your child, that that's something you're trying to emphasize. Don't be shy about discussing this with your child. Tell them, and you're welcome to share this, even with the little kid. Tell them, Mommy or Dad, I really want you to be softer. I want you to think about others. I want you to be a really caring kid because people like people that care about them. And really emphasize that quality to your child, like I said, while putting them in opportunities and environments where serving, giving, and being empathic to others is an important quality. The last, obviously, recommendation here is make empathic behavior an important part of earning additional privileges or additional things that your child wants. So I wouldn't make it part of earning basic stuff. I mean, again, remember, we provide the basics for our kids because we're good parents and they're kids. But if they ever wanted to earn really additional types of privileges or things, or, you can say, hey, this is something you could do to earn that. If I saw you do something really nice, or, you know what, let's plan to give a gift to somebody and let's do that together. And once we do that, I'll be happy to consider having you earn extra screen time or earn a trip out with your friends or earn something like that. So again, giving them the ability to earn additional privileges by showing you behaviors that are extremely empathic or caring would be important. Remember, parents, you're your child's most important model. If you live a lifestyle that includes this as part of your life, if you model this as a way of life for your child, they're going to see that. If they're constantly surrounded by that and constantly see examples of that, those are the children that I find in my professional work typically demonstrate that quality the most. And especially kids who feel like those behaviors are valuable, they feel like those behaviors are noticed, and they feel like those behaviors are important. If your child feels like caring, giving, and empathy are good ways to get attention, good ways to get extra time with mom and dad, and good ways to get what they want, then they're going to be more likely to do those behaviors more consistently. All right, parents, so now we're going to talk about parenting in the heat of the moment. What do you do as parents when you get really upset with your kid? What do you do when you're feeling really stressed and overwhelmed? How do you be your best parent in that moment? Obviously, parents, we have stressful lives sometimes. It's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to get upset. It's easy to get irritated. But being able to effectively teach and communicate with your child in those moments is still important to do. So I wanted to share with you a strategy that I've used a lot with other parents in consultation, and something I find that works pretty well. It's a modified version of an acronym called SCARED, and it's from a book called Managing Meltdowns by Deborah Lipsky and Will Richards. I believe it's from Jessica Kingsley Publisher. So a modified version of this acronym that I use is SCARE. So the first letter there is S. We need you to make an environment that's safe, okay? So I want you to make yourself and your child feel safe. If you're not safe, if the child doesn't feel safe, then communication or learning is going to be impeded. If we want the interaction to be effective, we want to make it as safe as possible. So the way you make that safe is you stop. You stop yelling, you stop screaming, you stop moving, you stop doing anything that's contributing to a sense of scaredness in that environment. The next thing is to stay. I want you to stay quiet. I want you to stay still. I want you to stay at a steady rate of breath. And I want you to stay preferably in a relaxed body position. So maybe if you can go somewhere, sit down on a couch, stand in one place, do whatever you've got to do those things, okay? So the next letter is a C. The C stands for calm. So you've provided an environment that's safe. Now you're going to take that a step further and make that energy in the environment calm. So you're probably going to lower your tone of voice. You're going to lower your rate of speech. And you're going to obviously talk and interact with that person in the calmest way possible. Again, so you've achieved that sense of safety. You just want there to be a sense of calm. You want that person to interact with you in the calmest way possible. And you're trying to model that calm response for your child. Next letter we're going to go to is A, which stands for affirm. You're going to affirm you and your child in that moment that you're not upset, or that maybe you are upset, but it's not necessarily with the child, it's just with their behavior. You're going to affirm them that you are trying to help them. You're going to affirm them that you care about them, that you love them. And you're going to affirm that you're just trying to find a solution, that you're trying to be a parent. So affirming the child in that moment is obviously going to extend that sense of calm. It's going to make them feel like you care about them and that you want to help them. That's certainly something important to convey. The next letter of our acronym here is E. It stands for empathy. So parents, I want you to show that empathy. So you've affirmed that they're safe, that everything's good, that you're going to try and find a solution. But then you're going to show empathy towards your child. You're going to say, look, this is what happened. This is why I was mad. But I totally understand, your perspective. Or I get why that behavior occurred. I get why you did that response. I care for you. I love you. And that's what you're trying to show. You're trying to show that empathy. And the last letter of the acronym here is an R. The R stands for routine. So parents, obviously, if you're really overwhelmed, if you're upset, if you are in the heat of the moment, getting back into that routine can get people, again, more stabilized, more comfortable. We have those routines in our lives on purpose. And part of that is, again, to create that consistency, that sense of balance, that sense of calm. So Parents, you want to make the environment safe. You obviously want to be as calm as possible. You want to affirm your child that you're going to find a solution. You want to show empathy, and you want to get back into that routine as soon as possible. So parents, we're on to our last product review of the day. It's a product called Sassy Spray. It's basically a spray that is meant to be sprayed into children's mouth for doing naughty behaviors, I guess. Kind of a similar concept of putting soap in a child's mouth. I wanted to share my thoughts with you today and let you know kind of what I think from a professional behavioral perspective, and let you know why I think this product probably won't change any lives long term. So number one, spraying a spray into a child's mouth for behaviors you don't like is a type 1 punishment. It is a positive punishment, it's called. It's because you're presenting a stimulus that you hope will decrease the future frequency of the behavior. So it's a type 1 punishment procedure. So parents, a couple things that are wrong with it. Number one, for punishment to be effective, you need it to be quick, you need it to be powerful, okay, and you need it to be able to be applied consistently in multiple environments. So number one, it'd be hard to bring this spray into multiple environments, to restaurants, out in public, to the grocery store, wherever. It'd be hard to really do it consistently in multiple environments. People would probably give you a weird look if you're trying to spray things in your kid's mouth, sitting in a restaurant or at a movie theater or something. Second thing, to do it quickly, you'd have to have that spray on hand, in your hand, really quickly. The prime time to consequence a behavior with punishment or reinforcement is 0.5 to about 0.2 seconds or 2 seconds after a behavior. So literally within 2 seconds, if that consequence is not delivered, it decreases in effectiveness. So think about it. You have to have that spray basically sitting in your hand. It'd be hard to do that quickly every time. Another reason, generalizability, and as far as other people doing it. So let's assume there's a behavior that occurs across settings, like at school. Let's say it's using bad words, using bad language. What I found a lot is staff, professional staff at schools or whatever, don't like to do punishment-based interventions. And I get it. It feels very weird to use punishment or an aversive strategy with a child, especially that isn't yours. So I find there would be a high unlikelihood that this procedure would be done consistently across people in multiple types of environments. So again, it'd be hard to do quickly, it'd be hard to get multiple people to do it, and it'd be hard to generalize to multiple types of environments. Other reasons it would be hard to use this product consistently to get the behavior that you're looking for is it doesn't emphasize a replacement behavior. It doesn't allow for demonstration of a replacement behavior. A good consequence for a behavior is you should make your child do the behavior to earn access to what they wanted in the first place. So for example, if your child's using naughty language, you could remove a privilege and say, you'll get this back as soon as you can use nice words for the next 20 minutes. When mommy hears you using nice words for a whole 20 minutes, that's when you'll get your preferred item back. The reason this is really valuable is because you give your child an opportunity to practice behavior. If you immediately implement an aversive stimulus, you're not really providing that practice opportunity. I think this is going to be a lot more likely to make interactions with parents and children aversive too. Think about it. If you're constantly trying to grab your child or truly trying to catch them and spray something in their mouth, what are they going to try and do? They're going to try and avoid you. They're going to try and not get caught doing the naughty behavior. And if they are caught, they'll probably try and run and squirm away from you. Again, it would probably be more likely to create an aversive, intense interaction with people. The last reason I really don't like it is it switches the emphasis from looking for behavior to reinforce to looking for behavior to catch, being naughty. So basically, parents, I want you to spend all of your time looking for the behavior that you want to get more of. I don't want you to be in that mode of trying to catch your child doing something bad. And I certainly don't want you to use fear or intimidation or an aversive strategy to try and get the behavior that you want. You get the behaviors you consistently reinforce. So if you're looking for those good behaviors, you're going to be a lot more likely to find them. So parents, that brings us to the end of today. I want you to please continue to submit your questions to us at info@scottsdalepbs.com. We obviously want to thank our photographer, Mr. Philip Carnevale of philipcarnevalephotography.com. I want to thank all of you again for submitting those questions to us and for joining us here at Scottsdale PBS and Ask the Behavior Doctors.